My name is Alex Douglas, and this is how I went from dreaming of being able to dunk and even touch the rim at age 13 when I was nowhere near, to now, at 17 years old, being able to go between the legs and so many other trick dunks. And that happened all down to hard work and improvement every single day. I'm going to take you guys through the process that I did and my journey, so hopefully you can do the same thing. So I started off when I first started playing basketball. I was around 13 years old and about 5'9", 5'10". And I saw everyone else trying to touch the rim. There was always that one guy who could touch the rim before everyone else. So I was going up there trying to touch it. I was probably about this far away. And that summer, in July, I set myself the goal of getting a dunk. And I thought, you know what, let's get this in a month. It's easy. I'd done no extra research, nothing. You know what, let's get the dunk. 1 month, August 31st, I'll dunk. Anyway, so August 31st comes around. I've been dunking on low hoops a few hours a day. Go to go up for a dunk, completely missed. I couldn't even dunk a mini ball. So I thought to myself, well, damn, I think it's going to be harder than I expected. And a lot of people get to find out that it's harder than you actually think it is. People don't realise that you have to put in so much effort to just being able to dunk, especially when you're sub 6 foot on the shorter end. But that's what I did. I dedicated every single day to jumping and dunking. I saw an article online by Jordan Kilgannon, and I've seen videos on Isaiah Rivera telling me to jump every single day. So that's what I did. I got on a low hoop. I made it work. I put a basketball hoop. It was like a kid's basketball hoop, as you can see in the video, and I just put it on top of like a garden chair and made it to about 8'5". And I got my first one-handed dunk on there. I started watching videos on Isaiah Rivera and how to do it, how to dunk. And then I threw my first 1 foot dunk down when I was age 14. I didn't get that on video, but I still remember the feeling to this day. Best feeling ever. But then as the summer progressed, I thought, I'm going to be doing loads of trick dunks. I couldn't even get that dunk again. I was getting so close to doing rim grazers. But then I thought to myself, this 1 foot's not working. I'd seen all the pros, Jordan Kilgannon, Isaiah Rivera, everyone. On Dunkademics, everyone was jumping off 2 feet. So I thought, you know what, let's give it a try. My vertical was shocking at first. I couldn't even touch the rim, nowhere near. Then I got better at it. As the time progressed, I started dunking mini balls. It started going a lot easier. So I got a new hoop for my birthday. I invested in a new hoop, only around 160, 170 pounds. And I dunked on that every single day. I started at 9 feet, did loads of trick dunks, learned a bunch of tricks, learned how to do a windmill, then raised up to 9'7", and I was dunking on that, even up to 5 hours a day. That's the secret. Low rim dunking. If you want to do something, you want to get better at it, you got to do that thing, which is dunk. And then October came around, we're in 2023, I threw myself a lob at the park, went up, caught it, two-handed punch. So I got my first few dunks off the lob off 2 feet. So that was the first time I dunked in a long time. Remember I said I switched to 2 feet. So that was a real big accomplishment for me. And then Christmas rolled around, I was still dunking every single day. Nothing was stopping me. And I did my first no lob dunk. So getting the ball, dunking. It was a little rim grazer in December. But then things started to ramp up. I started to dunk more and more every single day. I was still playing basketball, so I was playing basketball, dunking, jumping, 15 at the time. I was doing more trick dunks. Started to do 180, that was my first trick dunk. Started trying to dunk on people for fun. And then I started trying the two-hander. I was getting better and better each day. And as the time progressed, and as I put more and more reps in, I was dunking two-handed, two-hand reverse, doing a bunch of trick dunks, but I didn't have that high of a vertical. See, I was only 15, and I thought, I've got to really ramp it up from here. However, as I kept playing basketball more and more past the summer, my knee pain in my right knee really started to hurt. Because I've been jumping so much, I hadn't really touched the weight room. It was bad. So that's what you guys have got to watch out for, your knees. You've got to protect your knees. As time progressed, I turned 16, and my dunks were getting better and better. I was getting off the lob dunks. I got my first windmill around about this time. I got my first in-game dunk, which is a two-hander. I never felt so good about dunking in my life. I loved it. I was starting to like dunking more than basketball, which in the end, you'll see, worked out perfectly for me. But I kept dunking every single day. I wasn't really in the gym, so I was dunking through this knee pain. I got to a point around last summer where I'd just about been able to do cuff windmills, 360s, all that lot, but my knee pain was so bad, I couldn't continue. I had to pull out of a dunk contest, which I was going to do, my first dunk contest. I just couldn't do it anymore. So at the start of this year, I decided that I was going to fix my knee. So I fixed my knee doing slow squats in the garage. I got into the gym for the first time, really, consistently. So I was in the gym lifting weights. I started doing it every single day. Slow squats were my biggest friend. I started slow squatting. My knee pain slowly started to go away, but I had to cut out the jumping for a bit. So I stopped jumping for a bit. And finally, my knee pain was basically gone. So then that's when it all took off again. I started low rim dunking. I started jumping yet again. I'd gone back a bit in progress, but I knew that would happen. Didn't get demotivated, and I started dunking more and more and more. Started adding more trick dunks to the bag, two-handers. I started doing 360s. I started doing off-the-lob windmills. They started getting really, really consistent. But I still had that one goal of going between the legs. After that summer had finished and my knee pain was almost gone, I got the message, basketball season's starting again. And I thought to myself, do I really enjoy basketball as much as I do dunking? Because if I'm going to play basketball, I know my knee pain is going to come back and it's going to be really hard to increase my vertical. So I thought to myself, I'm not going to play basketball this season. I'm going to give this dunking thing everything I've got. So I ended playing basketball for my team. I enjoyed every single moment of it, but I stopped playing. And this was the key breakthrough for me. Because dunking takes a lot of stress on your knees, but basketball does. If you're doing it every single day, it's much worse. So I quit. I got back in my home gym and started working. I was doing windmills easier and easier. I started jumping over people, and this is when my vertical started to take off. I was lifting in my gym, and then I reached a point where I maxed out my gym and my home. I only had like 70 kilos worth of weights. So I thought, you know what? I'm doing the next step. I'm going to get a gym membership. So I got a gym membership. I got in the gym, lifting heavier and heavier. And it got to around just before Christmas. I was dunking on 10 foot at my school most weeks, and I was improving. Handoff windmills, punching dunks. And then I got a message saying, would you like to do this event at school? And it was a basketball event. And I was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. I was incredibly nervous because I never really done anything dunked in front of people before. So we did our charity game. I did a few dunks in game, which boosted my confidence. No warm-up. And then it came to the point where the head of the charity committee was like, oh, Alex, could you jump over me? There's about 300 people in this hall, all at my school, and they all see my TikToks. So I was like, yeah, go on. Didn't think about it. I never hit this dunk first try, which now is an easy dunk, a windmill over someone. But I set him up under the hoop, and everything went in a blur. I went to the dunk, and the next thing you know, I'd done the dunk. And I was like, what? First try? I couldn't believe it, as you can tell by my celebration. But I just felt something different. I literally didn't feel anything. I remember running up to the dunk, and I don't remember the dunk at all. Until I seen it on video, I'm like, what? I did that. And that was a real big breakthrough. After that, I started working harder and harder in the gym. I started lifting heavier and heavier weights. And then I kept jumping every single day, low rim dunking. And then I got to a point when I was jumping pretty high, throwing lobs off the backboard, all sorts. And then last month rolls around March. I decided I was going to do a charity event. So I was going to dunk 3,000 times in March, which might have been the most stupid idea I've ever thought of. But I thought it's for cancer research, and we raised £600 actually. We've just finished that. But I thought I might as well try it. So I dunked every single day, and the key thing was I dunked on 9 feet about 4 or 5 times a week. And I practiced my between the legs. And I never really repped it out because I thought, the dunk's really hard. I'll do it one day. I repped it out. And then I got really close on 10 foot. So I kept trying it. I kept jumping higher and higher, even though I was jumping every single day, which didn't make sense to me. My knee pain was coming back. My knees were swelling up. But I pushed through it, which you shouldn't do. I laid off the weights for that month. So the next week, I thought, I'm hitting this EASTBAY. I fueled up. I threw the lob again and again and again. You wouldn't believe how many attempts it took me. I tried for about 45 minutes. The rim was around 11.6, 10 foot, so dead around 10, regulation. And then I felt it again. I threw the lob, and I didn't feel anything again. Like the exact same thing that happened when I jumped over somebody at that event. I threw it, I didn't feel anything. It was a random attempt, went through my legs and punched it.
Everything you have. Hey, did you see that? Did you see that? Hey, get me in it. Did you see that? Did you see that?
Did you get it?
He got it.
Finally.
Let me see.
That feeling was better than the first dunk feeling because I knew I would be able to dunk, but being able to do a between the legs dunk I thought was impossible. And I did it. And that's motivated me even more. I started posting more and more on TikTok. And now we've just finished a challenge and I'm back on the weights and I'm ready to do some insane dunks. I've already hit some new dunks off the backboard windmill. I'm jumping so much higher. I recently got a vert trainer, so I'm going to test my vertical we'll see where that is at. But looking back on it now, I was sitting on the bus on the way home the other day, no one around. I was just thinking, how have I gone from 3 years ago, 4 years ago, not even being able to touch the rim, to doing a between the legs dunk, which literally, if you put it into perspective, only 1% of the population can dunk. The population that can do a between the legs dunk is so small. And that to me is insane. And I remember thinking that was impossible. You just need to believe that anything is possible. And that's what I'd say to anyone. If you look at something where you're starting and you look at the goal, always look at the closest goal. You set yourself a long goal, yeah, 100%. And then you keep building up them small goals until you hit that big goal. I never had the goal of hitting the EASTBAY straight away. I had the goal of hitting the first dunk. When I hit the first dunk, I thought first windmill, first 360. I ramped it up. And I decided to put my all into the last goal. And that made it small. That's why I enjoyed it so much. You have to stay consistent. The key to staying consistent is to, as I said, look at the small goals. But I believe anyone, if you have a goal, this doesn't even have to apply to dunking or basketball, you can reach it. As long as you stay committed, it might take 2 months, it might take a decade. You need to stay committed. But I believe anything is possible for anyone. And if you're thinking, oh, should I start? You should start, 100%. I watched one of these videos that I'm making right now by Tom Dunks when I couldn't even dunk, and I thought, you know what, let's give it a go. And look at me now, I'm here making the exact same video 3-4 years later. And I've built an audience, which I'm so proud of. I'm on around 17,000 TikTok followers, almost 10,000 YouTube subscribers as of now, only 17 years old. And my goal is to become a pro dunker and travel the world and dunk and share my journey with you guys. So I'm going to be posting more on YouTube. And if you guys have any video ideas, you can put them in the comments. And best believe, if you guys have any questions, you should drop them down below. Thank you guys so much. It's been an honor to share my story, and I hope some of you, even one of you, is inspired to start dunking. It doesn't matter if there's 100 people watching this video or it ends up being 500,000. I hope I inspire one person to start, no matter what it is. Start now.